Clash of the Collectors is a quest to find the world's greatest hidden collections.
This is the reason I get out of bed in the morning.
Everyone has a hobby, but for some, it's become an obsession.
This is my bone palace.
This passion fills their homes from floor to ceiling. Now these extreme hoarders are opening up their doors. Woohoo! To discover who is the greatest collector. In each episode, one item.
And she's beautiful!
3 spectacular collections, only one winner. This time, 3 men who have dedicated their lives to collecting the agricultural engineering marvel that is the tractor. But whose incredible collection is the best? Representing the USA, contestant number 1, Eric the Mr. Big.
I see a tractor that I really want and I just can't help myself. It's a $38,000 tractor.
From Australia, contestant number 2, Bill, the Crocodile Dundee of tractors.
I give up smoking, drinking, wild women. Now I concentrate on tractors.
And from Brazil, the farming carnival king, Tratores.
I'm getting crazier about old tractors every day.
Only one of them can walk away as the ultimate tractor collector. They will be awarded marks out of 3. For size,
Every time I try to count, I either lose track or get distracted.
rarity,
There was only a couple of hundred of these made.
and sacrifice.
I woke up 3 days later in intensive care.
This clash of the collecting heavyweights kicks off in the USA, with a man who believes he has what it takes to win.
What we're going for is a collection that you can't find anywhere else.
Eric's farm is home to a world-class collection of tractors. 5 years ago, Eric broke the 100 tractor barrier and hasn't counted since. Today, he's going on a tour of his land to find out his tractor total.
This is our large main tractor building. In here I have somewhere around 60 tractors.
It's home to Eric's extensive collection of Minneapolis Molines. And that's not all.
Well, we've got another building over here that has quite a few tractors in it. We can go look at it now. We'll take the golf cart. Please keep your hands and arms inside the ride at all times.
In barn number 2 is Eric's collection of John Deeres.
Put the lights on here so we can see a little bit. We built this building specifically for tractors. There's about 50 plus tractors in here.
And it still doesn't end there.
This is our workshop. We do a lot of repairs on tractors. We've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4, we've got one completely tore down in here. So we're working on them.
And with more arriving all the time, keeping them up and running is a constant battle.
Most of these are in need of something. I think if I had a couple full-time guys working for me, we could have all these tractors done in 7 or 8 years.
So far, Eric spent over $1 million putting his collection together. And what's even more impressive is for the first decade, he managed to hide his tractors from his wife. Eric first started collecting 16 years ago, and his passion for tractors came from a love of classical engineering.
I have a real attraction to tractors. Tractors are mechanical, when there's a lot of moving parts, and I like moving parts. You've got the gearing, you've got the timing, you've got the piston and the crankshaft. Everything has a job, and everything's, in this case, everything's doing what it's supposed to do. Well, keep going, babies.
Early mechanical marvels like this created a revolution in farming in the early 20th century. Delivering far better productivity than horses, it wasn't long before the hoof was replaced by the wheel. Every corner of Eric's farm is home to a piece of horticultural heritage from across the decades. And with a total of 132 machines, his incredible tractor empire is going to take a lot of beating. 14,484 kilometres away stands one man who believes he can take on Eric's collection. The vast Australian outback is home to collector number 2, Bill Shanley.
My name is Bill Shanley, and I'm an Aussie tractor collector.
Bill owns a sheep and cattle farm, but his real passion isn't for livestock, it's tractors.
My tractor driving started probably when I was 11.
And now he just can't live without them.
I drive tractors for probably 6 months of the year, half of the year. Probably play with them for a few months too.
And having now collected tractors for 20 years, his rustic farm is littered with them.
I give up smoking, drinking, wild women. Now I concentrate on one wife and tractors.
Sharing the farm with his collection is the other love of Bill's life, his patient wife, Moya.
I think he's a bit obsessed at the moment. Some days you think, oh, he should be in here with me, but some days I think, get out in the shed, it's probably better off you're out there. But I keep saying enough's enough. But he said, oh, I've got to have this one to go with the collection. It's, you know, very rare, Mum. He says, very rare, got to have it.
Oh, the wife thinks that I go overboard a bit.
Keep saying, OK, you bought another tractor, I'll have another diamond. But it hasn't happened, so I suppose I'm missing out a bit.
Looking around, it's clear where Bill has spent his money.
Over against the fence we have around about 10 two-cylinder John Deeres. Here we have a little bit of everything, ranging from a cockshut through to a Fordson. Now we get into a bit of a run where I've been buying a bit of rubbish on eBay. I only know how to spend money on it, I don't know too much else.
Some of Bill's purchases are more unusual than others.
But these were English field marshals. Used to start them with a shotgun cartridge. You could screw this out. There's a cartridge, and you used to fill that up with powder, put the cap on, get a hammer like that, bang. Gas will send the piston back like that, it'd give it enough to do a couple of revolutions and away she goes.
With so many tractors, Bill estimates his epic collection is worth an impressive $500,000. And the number of tractors he currently owns?
Well, the last count of me tractors, I think we got to about 115.
Bill's rustic collection, at 115, doesn't quite measure up to Eric's tractor empire. But there's still one man to go. In Brazil, standing between the American heavyweight and victory in this round, is Petrus Neeson. Petrus landed in São Paulo 63 years ago from Holland, with nothing in his pocket but a love of the land.
I'm Petrus Neeson from Holambra, Brazil. I'm 81 and a tractor collector.
On arrival, Petrus got a job working the fields as a farmhand, instantly falling in love with the ladies and tractors.
You have to understand why. It's like collecting a coin. It's not just a coin, it's a history. It's maybe sometimes you have feelings behind it. And I think the tractor is the same thing.
Over the decades, Petrus has built up the most impressive collection of vintage tractors in the whole of South America.
Tenho bastante Lance Bulldog, eu tenho Internacional, tenho al de Chalmers, Hanomag, Oliver, Someca. 7 John Deere, tudo modelo diferente. Do mundo inteiro praticamente, né?
For Petrus, there are several rules to collecting. A tractor must be rare and pre-1950.
I'm always keen on different tractors. I never look for 2 tractors that are the same.
Porsche Allgaier, especialmente feito para cafezais e vinhedos.
Only 300 of these orange missiles were exported to Brazil. The Porsche is unique in having a petrol engine. Toxic diesel fumes would have contaminated the plants, ruining the flavour of the coffee beans. Petrus has spent decades assembling one of the finest antique tractor collections. He's now sat on a $450,000 gold mine.
Altogether, I have 77 tractors.
It's a small but perfectly formed collection of 77 tractors. At the end of round one, Petrus the veteran trails in last with the smallest collection, 1 point. Bill the Outback collector with 115 tractors is second, 2 points. But in the lead with 132 tractors representing the USA is Eric Zeal, 3 points. With 2 rounds still to go, it's all to play for. Now these 3 tractor fanatics have revealed the size of their collections, it's time to dig deeper and discover their rarest item. Who's got that hidden gem? First up is corn farmer Eric Zeal.
Early on when I started actually collecting tractors in earnest, I decided that we needed to collect rare tractors. Tractors that just don't exist in any high numbers.
Eric's passion is for vintage Minneapolis Molines. And there's one that he will always love more than the rest.
As a Minneapolis Moline collector, everybody desires the UDLX.
This part tractor, part car was a revolutionary design capable of working the fields by day and driving into town by night.
It's got a large cab, 2 seats, had a heater, had a radio, and it's got a road gear in it.
Priced at $1,900 in 1938, it was over twice the price of other tractors with the same horsepower. As a result, the UDLX never took off, and only 125 were ever produced.
I actually bought this tractor pretty much in this condition. It's sort of a crown jewel of a Minneapolis Moline collector.
But this pristine UDLX didn't come cheap.
I actually paid $147,000 for this tractor. This is my wife Carol's favorite tractor. That helped my cause a lot.
The UDLX is a highly sought-after machine. But with another 124 of them still out there, the competition for rarest item is still wide open. Next up, Aussie wildman Bill Shanley. Bill's collection is packed full of machines any collector would be proud of. But his rarest are the Australian Chamberlains.
I have all the orange Chamberlains that Chamberlain ever made. 25 in all Chamberlains.
But there is one Chamberlain in Bill's collection that is rarer than all the rest. The 55 KA.
This was the last tractor I never had of the Chamberlain collection. There was only a couple of hundred of these 55 KAs made.
Its powerful engine was also thirsty, and the 55 KA never took off. Chamberlain discontinued it after only 2 years. Bill spent 20 years searching for one, but with no luck, he painstakingly had to build his own.
It's made out of 23 different tractors, and it took me about 4 years to get everything together.
Through years of hard graft, this rural sheep farmer is a saviour of an Australian agricultural icon. Bill's Chamberlain is an extremely rare machine. But will his passion for restoration be enough to beat Eric's on-road beauty? In Brazil, Petrus also specialises in fixing up vintage machines, so his collection is sure to contain some historical marvels. Only where he lives, restoration is not so easy.
Here in Brazil it's hard, because I can't find parts. There isn't a company that sells parts like in Europe.
And today's challenge is repairing the flywheel of his German Lanz Bulldog, with a part made from scratch.
All it takes is a bit of arguing with myself. But so far I've managed to solve every problem that has turned up.
There's only one way to test his workmanship, by firing up the engine.
The engine has to be very hot, very hot.
With no spark plugs, the combustion chamber needs to be hot enough to ignite the fuel. The Lance Bulldog was first manufactured in 1921, and the crude engine could run on any low-grade fuel. Its simple design kept production costs down, and, with few moving parts, it was very low maintenance. Once up to temperature, Petrus spins the flywheel with the new part inside. It starts first time. It was Petrus's very first tractor, and it's never let him down.
Quando estou sentado no trator, me lembro dos tempos de eu 18, 20 anos.
For Petrus, there's no better way to pass the time than riding his favourite tractor. But with over 100,000 produced, it's not his rarest. Hidden away is the crown jewel of Petrus's vintage collection and the rarest tractor in Brazil, the 1948 Silver King, restored to showroom condition. Made in the small town of Plymouth, Ohio, this tractor was groundbreaking. Its light, high-speed engine meant some versions could reach 25 miles per hour, unheard of at the time. Petrus instantly fell in love with it, but it was too expensive.
I saw it in a dealership, and he asked for 25,000 reais. I said, no, I don't want it.
He saved hard until his rival agreed to sell.
5 years it took me to buy it.
It was only after he bought it that Petrus discovered just how rare it was.
I found out that the maximum they had in Brazil was 3.
Time to score the 3 rarest items. And in third place is Petrus's Silver King. Although they're like gold dust in Brazil, hundreds still exist worldwide. 1 point. Next, Eric's revolutionary UDLX. With around 30 still on the road, it's still not the rarest. 2 points. Top marks go to Bill and his Chamberlain 55KA. With only a handful still running, this is one seriously rare tractor. 3 points. Going into the final round, Petrus is lagging behind on 2. Eric and Bill are neck and neck on 5. Up to now, these 3 tractor collectors have been scored on size and rarest item. But in the final round, the collectors themselves will be put under the spotlight. They'll be judged on how much they've sacrificed in the pursuit of their incredible collections. Only then will the ultimate tractor collector be revealed. First up is Petrus. In Brazil, with few parts available, building a quality vintage collection requires incredible dedication. But that's not all. Petrus's passion for tractors has taken more than time and money. He almost paid the ultimate sacrifice: his life. When starting up the air compressor, Petrus made a near fatal mistake.
Que precisava desligar o diesel. Então ele injetava diesel junto com ar.
It had become a time bomb, because when diesel is put under enough pressure, it explodes.
Esta peça estava pendurada aqui, então ela explodiu. Me jogaram para trás e abriu tudo aqui.
I woke up 3 days later in intensive care.
Não lembro nada.
Petrus suffered horrific injuries from his shoulder to his knees.
Não, aqui não dá para ver mais nada.
Without money to pay the medical bills, doctors would have amputated his arm. Has it put Petrus off? Not a chance.
Não parece.
It helped me to be a bit more positive, to carry on.
Mais fanático.
More fanatical.
Next up, Bill. Like all the collectors, he has spent a small fortune on tractors. But some of his purchases aren't exactly ready to be driven. And when restoring a tractor is beyond even him, Bill has to go the extra mile to find the perfect part.
A lot of the stuff I collect, no one brings it to your front door. You've got to go a lot of miles and find it.
When Bill heard about an engine he wanted in Western Australia, he just had to have it.
I hopped in the Land Cruiser with the trailer and we went over and bought it home, 4,000 k's.
Travelling 4,000 kilometres across Australia to buy an engine shows true dedication.
It's there.
Last up for the USA, Eric. Having spent over $1 million on his collection, his sacrifice is cold, hard cash.
I see a tractor that I really want and I just can't help myself. My bankers don't always understand what I'm doing.
It can add up to quite a bit. Some people have small things that they can put in cabinets and some people have whole buildings.
It is definitely an expensive hobby. Eric's collection is part of him just living life to the fullest.
I think as long as he enjoys it, he'll continue to collect tractors.
Eric's collection has cost him more than Bill and Petrus's combined. And having put so much of his hard-earned money into building it, will this be enough for Eric to take the title? It's time to find out, as scores are awarded for the final round. This will decide who really is the best tractor collector. And with a story of exceptional sacrifice, Petrus takes all 3 points. Bill's 4,000-kilometre journey across the outback gives him 2 points. But Eric sacrifices money alone. He gets 1 point. So, how does that leave the collectors? In third place, Petrus with 5 points. Eric is second with 6, which means Bill gets 7 points. Well done, Bill. You're the winner.
Oh, thanks very much. It's good to have won. It's good to put the rest of the world in place. I've had a lot of fun with my collection over the years and it's been really much appreciated.